Steven Yeun became an overnight star after his role in The Walking Dead. Since he left the show, the actor did some deep soul-searching. He decided to portray a different narrative for Korean Americans, one that encompasses the depth of emotions that Asian families feel when they experience the West. Steven Yeun was born to a Christian household in South Korea. His father was an architect at a big firm who uprooted the family when Steven was 5 years old. They first moved to Saskatchewan, Canada, before settling in Michigan, where the actor was raised. Steven's dad started over after he moved his family to the West. He went from architecture to owning beauty supply stores in Detroit.
And he took a business trip over to Minnesota, and he told me that he saw the land and he was like, I need to move here. And then my dad had to restart from scratch.
Mom and Dad's first job in the States was stuffing chopsticks into paper sleeves, the dreamboat shared. Yeun explained that his father was distraught when his family first settled in. He said he was so angry because he realized that he threw away all the safety of everything and had to start back up from zero, the actor said. After having to build up, once again, from a modest background, the actor's parents encouraged their children to pursue law or medicine, something highly specialized, so the children could have a secure future.
I really broke my parents down from an early age. I didn't give them any false hope that I was gonna be a doctor. I think it was just like, let me take a bio class.
Yeun received a bachelor's degree in psychology with a concentration on neuroscience from Kalamazoo College in 2005. He tried his best to listen to his parents, but deep down, the young man knew that the field of psychology was not his calling. Steven feels that he had two personalities growing up, saying he was subdued at school but was more assertive at home or the Korean church his family attended. These two clashing personalities created a sensation that no matter where he was, the actor felt he didn't belong. Seeking a companion for this sense of dislocation, Steven found one on TV, sitting on a throne as the Prince of Bel-Air. He was really drawn to Will Smith.
I really gravitated towards like Will Smith, and that was as close as I got to feeling like I could empathize or...
When you think about the Fresh Prince, it was kind of that concept. He's caught between two places, just trying to be himself, the actor reflected. Yeun said that he struggled to adjust and settle into Western society, having been born in Seoul and raised in a Korean home. He just sort of winged his way into learning English and was often the only Asian kid in school, so he kept to himself and described himself as an isolated child. I think immigration, if I'm going to be honest, it f***ed me up a little bit, he said. So, Steven retreated into himself. He found some comfort in Nintendo and X-Men cards and befriended other weird Gap Life kids who were inclined to sit alone at the lunch table. I realized I did a lot of things to look smart, he said. For example, if someone asked Yeun what his favorite type of music was, he'd blurt out, classical, but I don't know anything about classical music, I would just say shit. He played in the school orchestra, but felt like the most realized version of himself at his Korean church, where he didn't have to code switch. In his youth group, everyone could move through their little contained world in the fullness of who they were, immigrant children learning how to adapt to their Western environments. Yeun finally began to break out of his shell as a teenager when he got himself a guitar. The guitar quickly unlocked something in Yeun, who would transform into the band leader of his praise group. He had grown to love singing, and the guitar by extension made singing easier. After high school, while at Kalamazoo, the rising star fell into improv comedy, which gave him a new medium to express himself. Steven later moved to Chicago to join the Second City Comedy Club, the improv incubator that launched the careers of Amy Poehler, Julia Louis-Dreyfus, and generations of other stars. In Chicago, Steven met Joanna Park, who would become his second ever girlfriend and eventually his wife. One day, he was walking down the street with a friend when he saw a girl smoking a cigarette under a streetlight on Milwaukee Avenue. I just tapped my friend and I was like, "Yo, look at that girl." And he was like, "Oh shit, I know her," the actor recalled. Such was Steven Yeun's luck. He asked for an introduction and got one, but unfortunately for him, she had a boyfriend at the time. It wasn't until he ran into her a year later when she unexpectedly walked into the cafe where he was bartending that Yeun finally asked her out on a date. Since 2016, the couple have been happily married and share a 6-year-old son. However, after spending some time in Chicago, the heartthrob realized that comedy wasn't really his thing either, and he should try more serious acting, so Steven decided to move to Los Angeles. In 2009, he drove across the country and tried out for a handful of acting gigs, including one he didn't get. Then, Just 5 months after crossing the county line, Yeun was cast on AMC's The Walking Dead and became an overnight success. At its peak, the show was the most watched on television, trouncing Game of Thrones and The Big Bang Theory. His role as Glenn Rhee, a Korean-American pizza delivery guy with great hair and a big heart, quickly transformed Yeun into an object of fan obsession. Like, people would get his face tattooed on their chests and live-action roleplay as him in forums. In 2017, a year after he left the show, the actor was filming a night scene for the movie Sorry to Bother You in Oakland. Scrunched inside a Toyota Tercel with Lakeith Stanfield and Tessa Thompson, Steven was the first one to get recognized, from the back seat. People waiting in line outside a bar were like, "Hey, it's the Asian guy from The Walking Dead." The instant fame was surreal, and slightly dehumanizing. The actor had to stop leading worship at his church after other churchgoers began asking for selfies. Making up the chaos was that Glenn was romantically paired up with Maggie, a brave and unswerving white woman played by Lauren Cohan. Steven's role in The Walking Dead sparked deep thought into how the actor understands what it means to be Korean American, and ended up being why he left the show. He wanted his character to be more conflicted and have the same opportunities for inner life or substance as other characters. "Glenn has evil thoughts, I'm sure," said Yeun, reflecting on season 3 when his character thought that the governor had assaulted Maggie. The actor campaigned hard to get a storyline where Glenn gets to kill the governor, but that never happened. Steven soon grew restless with the role because he was portraying an idea that Korean Americans are one-dimensional when showing emotion. To be quite honest, as an Asian person, sometimes accessing your own humanity when you're outside in the world is not that easy, Steven once shared. Not having a sense of humanity in his real life and show life was frustrating.
Mentally, that character was just such in a different place that for me to go back there, I think it would be not good for anyone.
As was feeling that Asian people are usually just shrunken down into their labels. And so I think it just started this journey of just like, dude, I can't. I've got to feel full. I've got to feel real, he added. Even after scoring his hit role, the actor still felt that he was code switching and not being himself. "You're constantly trying to fit into a situation so that you don't disturb it," Yeun said. However, with The Walking Dead, he felt tired of not letting people know he could have dark thoughts and get angry. According to Steven, he would hear his whole life what a nice guy he was because he would always control his emotions. Initially, it felt like a compliment, but as he got older, the actor realized, "That man, that's an insult, and that's what I mean about my humanity. We all feel human, but I just wanted to feel all the feelings." So he leaped into roles that allowed for space to feel those emotions and to find answers to the question of who Steven Yeun could become.
You got to find out about who you are
Yes.
during that time, and there's a lot of stuff to clean up in there.
From acting as a union organizer in Sorry to Bother You, to the sociopathic playboy and part-time greenhouse immolator in Burning. According to the Guardian newspaper, all of Yeun's roles pick at the seams of identity, whether that means race or class, or some swirling combination of both. In 2020, the actor starred in the drama Minari, about a Korean-American family that moves to Arkansas in search of the American dream. He chose to play this role for the same opportunity to deconstruct notions of identity. Steven felt it was difficult to find scripts that didn't end up being very explanatory or needed white America to be present in the story for it to be justified. However, with Minari, not only was this something I could deeply relate to, it was told really confidently from its own point of view. It wasn't compromised by needing to explain itself, he said. Even though the film was excluded from the Golden Globes as an American film, Yeun was unfazed. If anything, it just provided an opportunity for the actor to dissect what it means to qualify as American, being labeled as Korean American himself. It really just comes down to the idea that rules and institutions can never capture real life, and it can never really understand that what builds a place like America and what makes it great is all the people that are contributing to it, he explained. Steven now feels that his work as an actor helps to expand those institutions and rules. That's why we make this stuff, he said about the complex identities he aims to show. According to GQ magazine, only some people have considered being a voice for representation with as much care and attention as Steven Yeun. This is mainly because the actor spent most of his life trying to find a middle ground to exist in. After searching for all those years, He decided to help create that safe space for others like him and his family. People of color chasing their American dream. That's all we have for you today. As always, thanks for choosing us. Spread the word, and don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell for more celebrity stories. Be well, and be kind.